Mesmer in general is in such a great state. Yeah, just... It's wild how Mesmer is just... If you ask me which class is currently the best, I'm telling you Mesmer. Like, again, and that doesn't mean other classes are bad, and it's all situational, but if I have to look at, like, which class currently has the most builds that are really, really strong, and also, like, easy to play, right? Like, a build can be really strong, but a total pain to play. Then I would actually not consider it to be good. Well, it is good if you're an epic gamer, right? But, like, personally, I consider build good where it's both doable, easy to learn, easy to execute, and strong. That's what I consider a build to be really good. And Mesmer has a lot of those builds right now. Holy shit. Loads of those. Mesmer's Revenant's favorite child. It's kind of fun. We should make a timeline about this. For years, people used to say that Guardian was ArenaNet's favorite child. And people were like, yeah, Guardian is just too good. Yeah, Guardian is just the best in everything. Oh yeah, Guardian is getting buffed because ArenaNet likes it. Somebody over at ArenaNet must main Guardian because Guardian is so good. Guardian's ArenaNet's favorite child. We had that for like a while. Then we went into End of Dragons. Then the narrative shifted. Then it became Engineer is ArenaNet's favorite child. And I was like, yeah, Engineer's too good. Heal mech is too good. Rifle Mechanist is too good. Connie Mechanist is really, really good. Nobody cares about Scrapper and Hollow. Well, I do. I care about those. But like back then, it was all about mech, right? Just mech was really good. I remember... Oh my gosh. You know, it's fun. I love looking at these stats. Have any of you seen this? If you go to like Wingman, Gw2 Wingman, you can see stats for how much stuff got played in the logs uploaded on Wingman. You can kind of see this happen over time in this graph. It's super interesting. Hey, what's up, Future Kawi? I really appreciate you saying that. You also the best for 2025. So look, it was all about Guardian in this era. Like Guardian, Guardian, Guardian. Also Rev was doing really well. And then suddenly it was like, oh wait, no, actually Engineer. Look, you can see the Mechanist dominance here. Like, look at how much mech there was back here. And everyone was like, yeah, Engineer is ArenaNet's favorite child. Honestly, it wasn't really because of Hollow and Scrapper though. It's mostly just mech. Mech was just quite good, wasn't it? And then now the narrative has shifted. And now the narrative is Mesmer is ArenaNet's favorite child. And you can see Mesmer going from like, it was always kind of okay, but now Mesmer is like huge. Mech's still good. Mech is so good still. People sleep on mech. Connie mech, incredible builds. Probably one of the easiest builds to get 40k on. I think it is probably the easiest one to get 40k on. Really straightforward. Not difficult to play at all, in my opinion. Super, super good. Moment of silence for Thief. Well, I guess like that's the narrative. I think in the end, the conclusion is Arena doesn't really have a favorite child. It's just kind of how the balance shifts over time, right? But there's no dev at ArenaNet who like mains a certain class and that's why that class is really good. Clearly that's not how it works, right? Clearly that's not how it works. Look at Warrior. Yeah, Warrior is not in the best spot currently, honestly. Warrior has been in a rough spot for a little bit. It's interesting because Warrior's not bad at all. Warrior's very strong. I think it's just that it's not OP, right? Like, when it comes to, like, what people play, people like to play what's OP, right? Like, it needs to be two things. It needs to be OP and it needs to be easy to play. If there's a build like that, people will switch to it. If a build is just, like, okay and good, but not OP, people don't switch to it. So, like, that's where we're at right now. Like, Berserker, quite strong. Spellbreaker, quite strong. I think it's a lot easier to play than Berserker personally, but a lot of people prefer Berserker instead. Bladesworn, pretty rough spot, but honestly, like, yeah, nah, Bladesworn is in a rough spot. The thing with Bladesworn is that it's the same damage as everything else, but it's a lot more tricky to play than everything else. It used to be that Bladesworn was tricky to play, but at least it did way more damage than everything else. But now it's not, so now nobody wants to play it anymore. I love it though, I still play it. I think it's super fun. But yeah, just the Warrior hasn't really been OP. I guess, right? That's the issue. Warrior has never really had that crazy OP time period, you know? Wise Man said if everything's OP then everything's balanced. Kinda. I mean, Game is relatively balanced right now, I would say, honestly. Like, nothing's bad right now. There's definitely things that are really good, right? Oh, it's in some way you're super right. You're super right. But nothing's bad currently. What is the chart right now? Of course, Virtuoso. Massive. Oh, Mirage. Oh, no. Why is... This is so sad. Look at this. This is Mesmer. Vert, massive. Chrono, massive. Mirage, it's like a pixel. They need to do something about Mirage. I keep saying this. I did a tier list a year ago where I was like, yo, Mirage is in a rough spot. Like, oh my gosh. And I was hoping that it would have not been in a rough spot a year later, but it still is, isn't it? Oh. Yeah, it's not looking too good. The thing is though, Mirage is really fun. I really like Mirage. Also, amazing in open worlds. Just, yeah, not popular in like instance content at all, unfortunately. Then, honestly, Necro's in a good spot. I think Necro's kind of fine, actually. Look, Scourge is popular. Interestingly enough, Scourge hasn't shrunk much, despite the transfusion nerf. Scourge, pretty much the same as before. Hasn't changed very much. Harbinger is not as popular, but it's in an okay spot. Reaper is also in an okay spot. Look, Reaper was like kind of blasting in this like... Reaper was like really good like late End of Dragons. The thing is, Reaper's still really good, but again, it's balanced, right? It's balanced. So like, it's got its fans, but like, it's not really taking over the whole scene, I guess. You can see though, holy shit, look at Tempest. Tempest is kind of taking over the scene slowly. Tempest is going hard. Did Tempest get big on the patch that they buffed Fresh Air? I think so, yeah. May 2024. I think that is when they buffed Fresh Air, isn't that? Yeah. Look, Tempest was like tiny, y'all. Just Ellie in general was tiny. Look at this time period. Like EOD beta. Look at how small Ellie is in general. But Tempest is getting there, y'all. Again, Tempest, it's currently in that... It's in that sweet spot, y'all. It's in that sweet spot where, like... Basically, it's really easy to play and really strong. Well... Easy to play... Okay, the one thing with Tempest is you gotta be pretty fast. But it's easy to, like, learn the basics. But you still gotta be pretty fast when pressing it. But yeah, Tempest is steadily growing. Tempest is, like, pretty big now. Also, Catalyst is going up a bit. Catalyst has gone up a tiny bit. I think that's because of the Catalyst changes, right? So like heal Catalyst is kind of a thing now. Quickness Catalyst is actually playable and it's not super annoying to play anymore. We'll see Catalyst and Mars. Yeah, Catalyst is kind of coming back. And then there's some massive tryhards that are playing Catalyst spare DPS. I tried playing that. Like, I did a stream where I tried to practice that build for 3 hours, and it's really hard to play. I didn't really pull it off. Maybe one day I'll go back to it and continue learning it, but that's not an easy build to learn, y'all. But yeah, Weaver, not in a great spot. Kinda sad, Weaver wasn't even that bad, honestly. Like, there's pretty easy builds for Weaver that's quite strong, but... yeah. Nah. Do you think fractal meta needs to change from time to time, or only raid meta should be discussed by the balance team? Oh, I think both. I think both. But I'm not sure if I necessarily care that much about them changing things up. Well, changing things up is kind of fun, so maybe they should. But yeah, they should balance for both, for sure. Honestly, Mechanist is going pretty steady. I always say that Mechanist is quite good and people have forgotten about it, but that's not really true. Decent chunk of people's playing Mechanist. Yo, Condi Mech is so good. I do feel that everybody sleeps on Condi Mech though. It's an incredible build. I barely see anyone playing it. But I guess lots of people are playing Mech after all. Hollow, not looking great. Scrapper looking a little bit better. That's so sad to me. Hollow is probably my favorite elite spec in the game. I really like Hollow. The issue with Hollow is that it's harder to play than Scrapper. And it does pretty much the same damage as Scrapper. It does a little bit more, but it's like It's a very tiny difference. So it's like, most people are just going to play Scrapper, right? I love Holosmith, but just, again, Scrapper is just significantly easier to pick up while at the same time being, just being, like, almost just as good. Scrapper's way more sustained. True. And also Holo's got the whole overheating thing, right? Alright, it's Ranger. Untamed is pretty small. I feel like people forget about Untamed. Again, Untamed, amazing in open world. Also, not bad at all in raids and stuff. I played it a whole bunch, actually, last year. It's fun, too. But it kind of struggles from Soul Beast existing. This is an interesting one, though. Basically, I think Untamed is easier to play than Soul Beast. To me, Untamed feels like Soul Beast without the risk. I will explain that a bit if you're unfamiliar. Soul Beast is this, like, bursty DPS spec. Basically, like, you don't do a lot of damage, but then at some point you pop all your buffs, you buff yourself up massively, and then you do crazy damage, and then you chill. So it's like, crazy damage, chill. Crazy damage, chill. It's like that. It's like peaks. Untamed feels like that, but it's not as many peaks, which means that it's a bit more forgiving, right? If you're playing Soul Beast and you get knocked down while you're doing your crazy burst, your damage is gonna fall off a cliff. On Untamed, that doesn't feel as punishing. Like, if you get knocked down as an Untamed, you're like, oh, I just keep going. But I agree. I think that's, weirdly enough, I feel like Untamed should be the more popular one, but I feel like people just don't realize that it's in a good spot now. I think everybody just kind of assumes Untamed is still not great. But Untamed is pretty good now, in my opinion. It's much easier to play than Soul Beast, in my opinion. Although, Soul Beast probably gets some of its popularity from the fact that it's like the ultimate fractal tryhard build. Like, if you want to tryhard and fractal, Soul Beast is really good because of the bursting thing, right? So, like, that makes the numbers go up, right? A significant portion of the tryhard fractal players really like Soul Beast and play it all the time. Druids? Pretty small. Surprisingly. I guess part of that is the fact that Druid is, like, only popular as a healer. Like, technically DPS Druid exists, but it feels like nobody plays that. Whereas if you look at something like Chrono, you've got, like, Heal Chrono, but you've also got DPS Chrono, you've also got Boon Chrono, right? Druid feels like people only play it as DPS. Colony Druid. Yeah, DPS Druid supposedly is pretty okay, but it feels like nobody plays it. Thief, not in a great spot, honestly. Again, Thief is not bad at all. But it's not OP, and, like, that means that people are not down to switch to it, right? It needs to be OP for people to consider switching to it. I know, maybe we can get more people to play Deadeye. I feel like Deadeye is gone up a little bit. A tiny bit. Maybe more people play the Unload Deadeye build. And then, of course, Rev. Rev is interesting. Look, just a little bit ago... Oh, is this Jennifer Walls? Oh, this is Jennifer Walls patch 1. This is when the spear. Look at this shell. This is crazy. Look, like, Renegade was kind of tiny. Then for a little bit, like, Renegade was super popular because the spear was really OP. And then the spear got nerfed and now it's back to being tiny. Yeah, look at that uptake. Look at everybody's going, oh, it's OP. And then it got nerfed and now it's gone again. But yeah, Herald continues to be popular as always. Not many heal Heralds out there, but just Boon Heralds. Arguably the best Boon DPS in the game still, because it gives so many boons. It's really easy to play. It's super, super strong. It's fun to play as well. That's a big factor. Vindicator, kinda gone though. It's kinda sad. I know, Vindicator never really clicked with me that much. I remember that it was actually quite strong, but it just never clicks with me that much. I think it's still supposed to be quite good. And then Guardian. How the mighty have fallen. Nah, it's okay. It's okay. But just look at, like, the Guardian was, like, so popular for years. Now Guardian's balanced. Guardian is experiencing what it's like to be a balanced class, you know? Again, typically a Guardian's not bad at all. It's pretty decent. Willbender can do crazy damage, but I actually feel like it's pretty tough to pull off in a real fight. I don't know, I don't like Dragonlancer that much. Firebrands is cool, but it feels like nobody plays DPS Firebrands anymore. Quickness Firebrand, also not popular. Heal Firebrand, still very popular in Fractals, not that much outside of Fractals. Guardian's fine, but again, it just people don't switch to it. And then the Warrior, same. It's not OP, nobody switches to it. I feel like Heal Berserker is so cool, but like not a lot of people have actually like dared to pick it up. So I feel like Heal Berserker is still relatively tiny. Ah, interesting stuff, y'all. I love looking at stuff like this.